No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise Pregame Show from Bronco Nation News, as we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches. The BNN Pregame Show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out lithiafordboise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise Pregame Show from Bronco Nation News.
Good evening, Boise State fans. Welcome to Honolulu, Hawaii game day, where the Boise State football team is Ashton Genty and the 4-1 Broncos taking on Coach Timmy Chang and the 2-3 Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. The Broncos making the 6-hour flight on Thursday over to the islands, getting a little time both Thursday and Friday to walk the streets, do a little shopping, and, of course, visit the famed Waikiki Beach, where you'll see plenty of fish. And how about this? Even a large sea turtle there popping out of the beach, the ocean, swimming right up there by the shore. Perfect weather the last couple of days, but make no mistake about it, this is a business trip for the Broncos, and they'll put their undefeated Mountain West record, number 17 ranking, and their claim as the top group of 5 team for the college football playoff on the line here tonight at the Clarence T.C. Ching Complex in about 2 hours on the CBS Sports Network. We bring you in live here to the stadium. It is hot. I am sweating. We're going to do the best we can. We got a great show planned for you. We appreciate you guys for tuning in and joining us. We're going to kick it off in just a matter of moments with Rachel Danielson, wife of Coach Spencer Danielson. We got Jeremiah Dicky joining us as well. We got Rich Waltz, the play-by-play man for CBS Sports Network. We're going to have Stephen Tsai from the Honolulu paper here. We got a lot of guests planned, a lot of fun. As always, get your score predictions in. Let us know where you're watching the game from. Let us know how you're feeling about this one, what beverage you're enjoying, the whole deal as we get you set for football here in Honolulu. Thanks to all of our advertisers, subscribers, as I mentioned on social media. Bronco Nation News, the only local media outlet that made the trip here. So we appreciate all of you. Hope you can hear us okay, and we're super excited about this one. We're going to take 25 seconds to thank all those great sponsors that made this trip possible, and we'll have Rachel Danielson join us in just a second here on Bronco Nation News.
Bronco Nation News is presented by RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, by Lithia Ford, The Blue and Orange Store, Western Collective, by Jackson's, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, by Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and by Timberstone Golf Course.
All right, we are back here on Bronco Nation News. Rachel Danielson, kind enough to join us live from Honolulu. Rachel, we appreciate your time as always. How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here. It's beautiful. I've never been here before and ready for some football.
What's it like for you, just being the coach's wife and making these trips and just the whole deal from your perspective?
It's been kind of surreal, honestly. Like, this whole season is just, even sitting on the bus coming here every time is like, it's just a blessing. I'm so happy to be here. And we had our wives trip in Hawaii this year, and it's been so awesome to get to know some of our football coaches' wives, on a more personal level, and it's been really fun.
What's a coach's wife? I mean, just all that comes with that. Some that people do see, a lot that people don't see. Being Spencer Danielson's wife, I guess. How would you describe that to the fans watching right now?
There's never a dull moment. Spencer, as you guys know, like, whatever I tell people, what you see is what you get. He's just like that at home, all the energy, everything. We balance each other out well because he's high energy. I'm a little more down to earth, so it's a good balance. But being coach's wife, it's a lot of work, as you guys know, like, football season, our husbands are gone a lot. So, kudos to all the coaches' wives out there. Doing a lot.
I remember seeing you on the field after the Utah State game last year, the first game where Spencer was the interim coach, and I remember saying, "I'm not sure if I should say congratulations or I'm sorry." It was a very weird turmoil of what was happening. How do you put the last year in perspective of what's going on in your guys' lives here?
Oh my gosh! Well, just thank Jesus. Really, I mean, it's been a God thing. So it's like I said, it's been a whirlwind. The last couple games of last season was like, sitting there, it was just like unbelievable, truly. But I do remember you saying that. So it's funny you bring that up.
Yeah.
That game I'll never forget for the rest of my life. It was truly just amazing. Something we prayed for a long time. And
seeing the team rally around Spencer and in the post-game interviews, all getting around him and stuff. Yeah. I mean, I remember he was just bringing that up last week with playing Utah State again. But that was super cool, and that kind of started this just wave of fans and players and everybody wanting to see him get the job. What was, I guess, first take us back to the day that he found out he was going to be the interim coach, and that first text or call he made to you when you found out that he was taking over for the rest of the season.
Well, I didn't. I actually found out from somebody else via text, and I didn't talk to Spencer till he got home that night. And I was sitting on the couch, couldn't get a hold of him all day, and I was just sitting on the couch waiting for him to come home. And so somebody else let me know, and honestly, my world kind of shattered. As you guys know, football is kind of crazy. There's a lot of turnover. People move all the time. So it was kind of crazy. I was up in the mountains, no service. So I had 2 hours to digest it going down, which was actually nice for me. But at the same time, I'll say I had a huge piece about it. I from the beginning knew Spencer was going to get the job. I just had a piece about it. But, it's amazing how things worked out. So
and how that wave went, and then you guys win the championship game. And Spencer talked about the flight the next after the game or the next morning, whenever it was, that he kind of Jeremiah kind of saw him and just said, "Nice game, coach," and didn't let on anything to what was happening. But what was that like the next day when you did get the word that he was getting the full-time gig?
By
the way, the lighting's terrible here. Can I switch sides with you?
Sure, yeah.
I'm gonna have you step back on this mic here. Sorry about that. They'd rather see you than me, and the lighting's better for you on that side. So we'll do that. But the championship game and getting the job there.
Yeah, no, I remember that flight. Spencer and I looking at each other, and JD just kind of being like, "I'll talk to you tomorrow." And we were just like, okay. I was like, well, I don't know. And so just no emotion. But talking to JD now, he was like, I was trying to like keep it calm, but I remember I was praying and he called me, and I remember being in my closet, shut my door because my girls were freaking out, but I was like, I need to hear this. And he said, "Babe, I got the job." And then I started.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Pretty crazy.
What a year. When he does he when he comes home, I mean, is he still watching stuff on the iPad, or can he ever just get away? I mean, what's it like at home of a football coach?
Honestly, it's been the best year since. Spencer makes it a priority to be home. And when he's home, he really is home. In the past, it's been a little more challenging. And this year he has made it truly a priority. I've seen him more this year than I ever have.
Wow.
Yeah. So I still kind of get, when he walks into the door, I'm still like, what time is it? You're home kind of early, for it's season time.
Yeah.
So No, it's been wonderful.
Well, it sounds like he's given more time, in the evenings on road trips for the players' families. Like what the family man, I guess that he is behind the scenes. What's he like? And it seems like a lot of that is the same guy that we see in practice and media and stuff.
It really is. Like Spencer's very genuine. He's very authentic, and the best thing I love is like he is amazing with our girls. Like when he's with the kids, he's with the kids, and like I can't be more proud of him being able to balance his job now because it's so much more public now, and then being able to come home and being able to just like set that aside and really be with his girls. It's awesome.
And I don't know if when I was going to bring this up, you mentioned the 2 girls at home. Congratulations! Sounds like there's going to be an addition coming.
There is. March 8th is our due date, so we're not going to find out. So and it's kind of hard to not think we're going to have another girl because we have 2 girls. But Spencer's like, I have 115 boys. So it's, maybe it's a good balance to have more estrogen at home. I don't know. So,
well, congratulations on that. That's
Thank you.
awesome. Do you ever get any kind of vacation or a day off at all?
I do.
Yeah.
I've kind of made that a priority this year for me, especially now adding a third because you have 3 kids. Don't you?
2.
Okay.
Yep.
But, I know that's, it's constant for a mother. So I've definitely had a couple days a week where I take a couple hours to myself.
What about as a family and with Spencer? Do you guys get any time off at all?
We try.
Obviously not this time of year, probably.
No, we go to Mammoth every year in California for about a week with his family. They've been going for 20 plus years. And then Spencer and I try to make something for us just to do. We're trying to make that more of a priority. And if we can take the girls, probably when they're older, we'll take them more to games would be the hopefully is what we can do.
Yeah.
Ellie was real sad she couldn't come to Hawaii this time.
Yeah. The flight, the 6-hour flight, I'm sure you would have.
It's more Rosie, my 2-year-old, that we're not quite ready for that yet.
So when you're in the stands watching the game, I mean, do you get super nervous? Are you calling out stuff because you know the game plan already? You've seen him going over it. I mean, are you what's it like from your perspective watching the games as a fan?
I get really nervous. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me to watch games unless it's like a game like we had last week. That makes me be able to kind of sit back a little bit. But every game, it's nervous. I'm always nervous. Sometimes I have to get up and walk. Depending. So.
Now, come this way just a little bit. You're falling out of the shot here. You mentioned you knew he was going to get the job.
Yeah.
To see what he's done with it, I mean, how proud are you? I guess you're probably not surprised to see how well it's gone.
I'm not surprised. I will say that I'm very proud of Spencer. I think this is everything that he's ever wanted. He knew that the job was going to be hard. You don't really know till you're in it, right? But he has done phenomenal, and he's kept his priorities, which I am very proud of him for, because there's certain things like family and time, certain things like efficiency where he's like, this is important to me, so we can have time with our families.
Yeah.
So he's done a great job with that.
What's something that fans don't know about him that they should, or that maybe is his personality or what he likes to do, or something that he isn't out there that people should know about him?
He's might have said this, but Spencer was homeschooled, and with people like kind of, which I think is amazing. When I met him, it kind of gave me a little bit of a shock, but I say that like as a joke a lot of times, which I think being homeschooled is amazing. But just to see, and all of his brother and his sister were too, and just to see like his personality and stuff, sometimes you just don't think it really aligns, but yeah, it's kind of like a funny thing.
Now, I may have done a little research and asked about the first time you guys met from his perspective.
Yeah. What's his perspective?
Well, you talked about, you both you being the star volleyball player at Azusa Pacific, and I guess was it your either roommates were dating or close friends were dating, and he went to a game and I guess was like, I got to meet her.
Well, the first time I saw Spencer, he had his sunglasses on inside. And he had his arm around another girl, and I just judged him immediately. And then after that, my roommate and teammate was dating his teammate and roommate, so they're now married as well. And found out I guess I played volleyball, and then he was pretty persistent. I'd say I was not interested initially.
I heard it took a while.
He's very persistent, very confident. So I was like, maybe let's give this a try.
Well, it's all worked out. You fast forward a decade. I guess final thing, just your thoughts on this game, this team. I mean, everything's rolling pretty good right now. It's got to be a lot of fun for you and the Danielson family.
Oh gosh, this team's amazing. I mean, you guys see like And he says it all the time. Like, our players are awesome. They truly are they're great players, but they're even better people. And we have an amazing staff. It's been so fun to see the success. But this game, it's game one again.
Yeah.
Like, it's Hawaii, and I know, like Spencer says, like, they're well coached, they're good. Like, we got to go in and play hard, especially being in Hawaii. That's been the toughest thing, is staying focused, right?
Yeah.
And the boys, I know, have done a great job. I've been out, doing other things.
Oh yeah.
So it's vacation for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we really appreciate your time. Congrats again on the third one on the way.
Thank you.
Good
so
luck
much.
tonight. The rest of the season. Safe travels back after the game, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
it. There she is, Rachel Danielson. I'll take your mic from you. Appreciate it. Awesome for her to join us here on the show. We give you a live look here at the stadium as Boise State gets set to face Hawaii. And again, great stuff. We appreciate Rachel Danielson for joining us, Patrick Walsh for setting that up as well. Hope you guys are able to hear this okay. It sounds like you are. We're going to go from one guest to the next here momentarily. We've got our man Rich Waltz, who's going to join us as we're talking Boise State, Hawaii. And again, get your comments in, get your thoughts, your score predictions. Let us know where you are watching from. And we're going to continue to give you a live coverage here at Bronco Nation News. We got about 5 live guests. I think we're going to roll from one to the next. Rich Waltz, we're ready whenever you are, sir. I am sweating. It's hot. And, food. Thank you. Appreciate it. Rich Waltz, there he is. There you go. How you doing, sir?
Aloha.
Appreciate you jumping on here.
What's going on?
Back this up a little bit. I am
every time I come on, you have a new gadget.
I'm going to steal this bottle of water while you're talking so I can get a sip here.
Your camera has a little light on it now.
Yeah, we're dealing with the shadows and things here, so not perfect. But I see they gave you the Hawaiian. You had to go Hawaiian shirt when you're in Hawaii.
Without question, we've got the
keep that. You got to keep that.
We got the lays going as well.
All right.
Tommy Bahama was nice enough to outfit us, so we're ready to go.
What's your thoughts on this matchup?
It's going to be fun to see Genty, right? I mean, I've watched him on television a bunch, so to get to see him, this year's version of him, along with the Broncos are a really good team. So I think there's 2 things on parallel tracks. There's Boise State trying to get to the college football playoff, and there's Ashton Genty trying to get to the Heisman Trophy. And if those 2 things stay on those 2 parallel tracks and keep moving, it's going to be a good year.
This is your first time in person, right? CNBSU?
Yes.
Yeah. And you have several more games coming up.
I do. I've got 3 on the road. I've got the UNLV game, which is a terrific matchup. That's in 2 weeks. I have to go to Laramie in late November.
Have to.
Late
By
November.
the way, I'm going to check this while you're talking to make sure folks can hear us okay. It sounds like they can.
Somebody get him a floor director.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Hey, there you go.
Diving in it out. I go to Laramie, and then I've got the...
You said UNLV?
UNLV, and then I've got the San Jose.
Yeah, the all 4 CBS Sports conference road games. Okay, but first time in person seeing Genty. What's your perspective? I know you've seen the numbers. Obviously, you've seen the tape, but as someone that's eager to see him in person tonight, what has stood out the most to you about what Ashton Genty has done?
Well, first time this year, but man, he is. When you look at him and you see what you see. For me, I quickly go to see what the other people say, the people that NFL scouts, the high-level college coaches. Nick Saban had a really good breakdown on what he sees from him and what he likes about him. And the other part of it is you ask about comparisons. What runner does he remind you of? Maurice Jones-Drew is kind of the guy that pops out of his offensive coordinator's head. Because he had him, Dirk had him on his NFL path. So that's kind of what you do. And the ability to break tackles, the number of yards is impressive, but the number of yards after contact, the number of tackles broken, the number of yards against a loaded box, which is 8 men in the box, all of the things are incredible. And I think the other thing, if you're a Boise State fan and you're a Genty fan and you want those parallel tracks to meet in the playoff with a Heisman Trophy. You want Oregon to win tonight. You want Oregon to be in that college football playoff as well, because people are going to say when they vote for the Heisman, when they start looking at Boise State late in the season, and they're going to say, well, who did they beat? And that loss in Eugene is going to be worth more than anybody they beat along the way, except maybe UNLV, but that's a game without the 2 returns.
They should have won.
Boise
State should have won.
They were a better team in Eugene that night, and I think that loss in that manner will carry a lot of weight for both Genty and for the Broncos late in the season.
By the way, did you catch Dirk Cutter on a good day, or?
Yeah, we had a good time. I got him to smile in our meeting.
He likes to have some fun with some of his media.
Multiple times we got multiple Cutter smiles.
Okay,
happy to report. No, look, the one thing I asked him is that you have to be pretty darn proud when you look back at when you were the head coach at Boise State, when you arrived, because that's really when it sparked to life, right? Hawk came in, Pete came in, Harsin came in, but Cutter was the first. Dirk was the first guy to really start it going, taste success, move to Arizona State, and all of that. And here he is full circle. I know he was sort of the rescue guy a couple of years ago. But this offense has his stamp on it, which is a pro style running. He said to us yesterday, we are a block you team, which means we're going to block you and force, other guys, the smaller defensive backs, to tackle. And that really fits I think the personality of the offensive line. Boise has a terrific quarterback who I liken to an unsung point guard in basketball, a guy that will score 10, maybe 12 points, hit some big shots.
Yeah.
But it's going to dish out 12 or 13 and going to turn over like once. And the type of guy that, like, when you take that point guard out of the lineup, nothing works. The offense doesn't work. The ball doesn't move. You put him back in and everybody gets better. I think Madsen is a guy that makes everybody around him better. And I do think, too, if Boise State is forced to throw the ball to win a game, he can do that for you as well.
Rich Waltz, our guest for a couple more minutes. He'll be on the call tonight, the play-by-play, CBS Sports Network, 9 p.m. back in Boise. Kind of a little late one here tonight.
Did you see the Elvis statue over there by the Blaisdell?
I think it's
the Stan Sheriff Center now.
Okay.
Because Elvis had a bunch of concerts here.
Is that why they're
and there's a huge Elvis statue out there, and they traditionally on game day put a big lei on his neck.
I like how some of these fans apparently don't have tickets to the game, but
the parking garage.
They went in the parking garage and have spots where they can see in. There's guys with, grills and stuff set up and then chairs. So I don't think they're tailgating. I think they're planning to watch the game from the parking lot. What do you think of the setup here? This is a very unique building.
It is. I think, you know what? I think they have done the best anyone could do in an awful situation. When Aloha Stadium was condemned, there's no other place to play on the island. There was no other stadium or anything for them to go play. So they turned to this on-campus facility. I had the UCLA game here on CBS, and it's a really good atmosphere. I know there's like 15 or 17,000.
Sold out again tonight.
But they're into it. They're loud. It'll be a good atmosphere, especially with Boise State going on right now. What are you looking at?
Making sure I read the comments occasionally. Make sure they didn't say that the mic got unplugged or anything, or they're giving you lots of.
Get this idiot off the air.
No, they said it's a great high school stadium, is what somebody just said.
No, look, it's not Albertsons, but what they were forced to deal with, and here's the sad part. Everybody drew up plans. We're going to bulldoze Aloha Stadium and build a new one. It's still standing.
Yep.
It's 4 years later. I think Plan B for these guys here is to actually build a stadium on this site piece by piece.
Yeah, well, I mean, they can't. This has got to just be temporary. This can't be.
Yes, it is temporary setup, but yes. I think on this site, they're building a track stadium as we speak around the corner. So they've got a track around this stadium. They can move the field in this direction, build up over there. I think that's probably more realistic than building Aloha Stadium again.
Which was a shame because there was a lot of history there. But I will say this, like you mentioned the atmosphere here tonight. Yeah. I mean, it's small, but it's going to be packed. And you'd go to Aloha Stadium and it'd be empty. And there was no atmosphere at all over there the last several years.
Yes, I'm in agreement. And you want your students to be able to walk to the game. That's if I'm an athletic director, that's what I want. My students are able to walk to the game. And they can. The dorms are right behind us here. That's the beauty of where the Broncos play too.
First of all, kudos to Rich Waltz and CBS Sports Network, because there's been multiple games in Boise where I walk next door to the TV broadcast booth and it's empty because they're not even there, including the Washington State game, which was ridiculous. So kudos to you and the expense CBS Sports Network puts in to send you guys all the way over here to Hawaii for this game. But you mentioned you were already here for the UCLA game, a game that Hawaii frankly could have won, should have won. I know UCLA is not the UCLA of old, but What do you make of this Hawaii team? They're 2-3. They got the run and shoot offense, but a couple close losses.
Here's what I say: they should be 4-1 because they should have won the UCLA game. And then if you watch the tape of the San Diego State game last week, they should have won that game as well. This is the best team that Timmy Chang has had in his 3 years here, and they're good. They got a really good quarterback. They're going to put points up on the board. And one of the guys that I really think has made an impact, and maybe the most improved unit in the Mountain West, is their defense. Dennis Thurman, the longtime NFL assistant defensive coordinator, great USC Trojan, terrific Dallas Cowboy. He's made a huge impact on this defense. This is a very good tackling defense. Number one statistically in the Mountain West right now. Now they haven't faced Genty. They haven't faced the Broncos. So I don't know that that's going to slow Boise State down. But they are vastly improved. The bottom of this conference is much better than it was last year. Nevada's much better than they were last year. Hawaii's much better than they were last year. So that's what I think. They're gonna put points on the board. Is my opinion. The question is, can a defense that's played pretty well this year slow down and not stop Genty, because that ain't gonna happen. But at least keep it close and give them a chance to win. They play well here. This is not an easy place to come for any visiting team, whether it's number 17 in the country, whether it's UCLA. There's been a lot of Power 4, Power 5, whatever you want to call them, teams that have come here and lost.
Well, it's crazy, and I don't know if you're going to get into this on the broadcast or not, but a lot of these games where they get up by so much and Genty doesn't even play in the second half, you almost have fans kind of wanting the other team to at least keep it somewhat close so you can get more action out of Genty and see. I mean, he'll see what he can do. I mean, that's been a big talking point the last week or so in Boise after that second half he didn't play against Utah State.
Yeah, look, one of the things that I think the Broncos have to do is manage him smartly. And look, if the game's out of hand, there's no reason for him to be in.
Yeah. And
what he's done is, he's had only 95 carries this year, and he's over 1,000 yards. His yards per carry is just a tick under 11. So I don't think it diminishes his numbers at all. Yeah, I'm sure the fans would like to see him run for 300 every night, but that ain't going to happen. And I think the Broncos, too, in practice have done a nice job of limiting his contact, limiting his workload, so that when they are in a tight game, they can give him the ball 30, 35 times and not worry about it.
A lot of people are commenting. I can read it from here. There's a blue and orange tint to your shirt. They're liking the colors here of the shirt.
Don't tell the Hawaii people that.
I knew as soon as you realized.
Look, I will say this. When we got these shirts, and they're beautiful, they're terrific. I did notice that. So the lei that we've got on
green, balance it out.
No, it's white, just to take people's eyes off the orange. So no, look, I'm a big fan of Boise. My first big job in television was the Big Sky Game of the Week back when Boise State was in the Big Sky.
Yeah.
And so I've been coming to Boise to do games. I remember doing basketball when Bobby Dye was the basketball coach there. So I got a lot of great memories and good friends in Boise. So I can't wait to get there this basketball season.
I was going to say we've talked about it numerous times, but you can't because of the TV deal. Now you don't get to do football games on the Blue as much anymore, if at all. But you get a couple trips a year for basketball. I know they got a big CBS San Diego State game. I don't know if you got that one or the Washington State game. But final thing before we let you go, I know you got to get back to your prep, but just this game and the matchup, and you got your big board here.
There it is.
Just your thoughts on what both these teams, what does Boise State do to come in here and make this the 21-point spread game that they, easy game that a lot expect? And what does Hawaii do to keep this game close and have a chance to pull off the upset?
I think what Hawaii defensively has to do, and like I said, you're not going to stop Genty, but you're going to have to contain him enough to force Boise State to throw the football. So that's job one if you're Hawaii. Job two if you're Hawaii is you got to give your quarterback a chance to throw the ball. I mean, Broncos lead the country in sacks. They got 21 of them.
Yeah, only one in the last game though.
So as we flip it over to the Rainbow Warriors, they got a really good stable of wide receivers. Number 5 is a guy you're going to see a lot. He's caught 8 balls in 4 consecutive games. And Shager is Shager could have left and gotten paid and gone somewhere else. He stayed here because he likes the coach. He likes the system. He can really throw it. For Boise State, that rush has got to force him to do things he doesn't want to do. The run and shoot is unique for a quarterback and a receivers and defensive backs because there's concepts. There's not necessarily set patterns. And a lot of it is receivers adjusting to the defense, quarterback recognizing that, and that's where the throw goes. So if pressure comes from Boise State, the wide receivers for Hawaii have got to make the adjustments on their patterns. Boise State's defensive backs have got to adjust to that. That's a really good cat and mouse game when Hawaii's got the ball.
Well, Rich, again, thanks for your time. Good luck on the broadcast tonight. CBS Sports Network, 9 o'clock. And again, yes, the announcers in the building for a game. It's nice to see. We appreciate you for being out here making the trip. This is going to be fun.
It is. And see, on my board, I write in big letters, don't say a bad word on TV.
There you go.
Because every now and then, you see something you want to say.
Well, and you don't. When Ashton Jency runs, I'm sure there's plenty of times people.
Man, he's so sweet. It looks so effortless. I mean, he doesn't break tackles by bursting through this. He just kind of slides off guys.
Yeah.
He accelerates. He's got such great speed. I'm thrilled that we're here. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, appreciate it, and best of luck on the call tonight. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for the invite.
There he is, Rich Waltz. We appreciate him. And again, we show you a live look here of the field as Boise State gets set to take on Hawaii here from Honolulu, Hawaii. We are at the Clarence T.C. Ching Complex in Honolulu. We got Jeremiah Dicky coming up. We got a lot of great guests. We're going to take a quick time out. If you need to get a quick drink, refill your beverage, make sure you got a Western Collective beverage. Jeremiah Dicky is making his way up here. Boise State's athletic director joins us right after this as we roll along on the Lithia Ford Boise Pregame Show live from Honolulu, Hawaii. Thanks to our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. We're in the Western Collective Studios. We'll be right back on Bronco Nation News. Subscribe to Bronco Nation News on YouTube. Join the fastest online growing community of Boise State sports fans. YouTube.com/Bronco Nation News is the website. If you're watching on Facebook or X, we ask you to swap over YouTube.com/Bronco Nation News. If you're already watching on YouTube, make sure you click that subscribe button. And while you're there, hit the like button as well. Help us show up higher in the algorithms. All the press conferences, highlights, interviews, live shows, all of our content is available on YouTube. Again, subscribe today so you don't miss any broadcast. Hit the notifications button and turn that on so you're notified when we go live. And again, subscribe to Bronco Nation News on YouTube. Join the Horseshoe Collective and Bronco Nation News at every away game football watch party at the National. It's inside House of Western proper, part of the Western Collective group at 610 West Idaho Street. You walk in, you turn to the right, and it's the bar right there. They'll have full audio of the games. Great deals, including $3 Horseshoe Gold Nails, and 10% of all proceeds goes to benefit the Horseshoe Collective. Again, Western Collective has locations in Garden City or downtown Boise. Try some of their delicious beers, including that Horseshoe Gold Nail, the first beer in the country to support an NIL collective. Check them out, Western Collective, our studio sponsor here at Bronco Nation News. I tell you every day, but there would be no Bronco Nation News without Andy Rowe and our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Concrete coatings, interior, exterior residential painting, commercial, industrial, all your painting needs. Consider the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. And again, our title sponsor. Support the sponsors, folks. Your next painting project, make sure it's with rowpaint.com. Check them out online, roepaint.com, or give them a call, 208-991-0567. Power and people, pride in painting. The title sponsor of Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Be on the lookout for the next edition of the Tyson Degenhart Show, sponsored by Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, of course, is that mobile e-branch online banking in the app on your smartphone. Check them out for all your banking needs, whether it's a home loan, a car loan, just want to get a standard checking account set up. They can do it all at Idaho Central Credit Union. Check them out online, ICCU.com. Whether it's the Magic Valley, the Treasure Valley, all over Idaho, all over the surrounding states. Next time you need to head to the grocery store, think Ridley's Family Markets. Find a location near you online at shopridleys.com. Again, love the Star location, love the Cuna location. Whenever we head up to McCall, that's the spot we stop as well. Download that Skep app, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. And keep in mind, Ridley's Family Markets sponsor here at Bronco Nation News. Snake River Pool and Spa Patio and Game has been around since 1978. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They're part of the Boise State home team, and they can help you out at thespateam.com. The Raines family purchased our spa. We are loving it. The delivery, the installation, the setup. It was so easy. I highly recommend it. They help you every step of the way, and we're loving, as the weather starts to cool down here, our new spa from Snake River Pool and Spa. But again, the patio and game portion, they've got that as well. Pool table, billiards table, anything you need for the game room, for the patio, they can help you out. Again, full inventory can be available online. They're ready to help you now. Check them out. Snake River Pool and Spa, patio and game, thespateam.com. The Raines family found out firsthand just how amazing Matt Bauscher and his staff is. Number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley for a reason. The Raines family purchased and sold our home using Matt and his team, Kelly, Cade, Sarah, the whole team, just tremendous customer service. So thankful we went with the sponsors, 243-8222. Check them out online, BauscherRealEstate.com. And again, no home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them take care of you, BauscherRealEstate.com. Check out the Riley and Ridge Show every Tuesday night on Bronco Nation News. Former Boise State tight end Riley Smith, longtime Boise State assistant coach Kent Riddle, together, weekly football talk from a unique perspective. Streams every Tuesday, 8 o'clock on YouTube. All right, back here on the Lithia Ford Boise pregame show, we both made the executive decision to go with the shades. Shades on. We got Jeremiah Dicky, Boise State athletic director, kind enough to join us for a few minutes as we roll along here from Honolulu, Hawaii. We're at the Clarence T.C. Ching Complex, and Jeremiah, appreciate it. It's a little warm, kind of a unique venue. Going to be a fun night for football tonight.
It will. And honestly, black was a bad choice. You know, I need some sunscreen right now, and good to see your family earlier. I'm glad they made the trip, man.
Yeah, no, it was worked out nice. No school Thursday and Friday, and had the free flight credits. So said, why not? This would be they weren't clamoring to go to Laramie in a couple weeks. You know, they wanted to come to this one, so we made it happen. But no, it's been good. They're going to be at the game tonight. Looking forward to that. And this trip, I mean, we're going to talk to Keaton Davis in a little bit and just kind of everything that went into. But from an athletic director standpoint, having to get the nicer, bigger, more expensive plane, coming out here a day early. Like, what's this like from the department standpoint to take the show on the road to Hawaii for a game here?
You know, this is obviously a difficult trip. I mean, when you think about this 1-0 mentality, and this is a work trip, and the amount of time, energy, and effort that goes in, and I can't say enough about Keaton and Charlotte and Lou and Bailey and all of our support staff. It's a lot of work. Dale and the equipment staff. Yeah. I mean, you're not obviously shipping your stuff. You have to put it on the plane. And so it creates some opportunities for our staff to come together, but it takes a team and everyone's doing it. And I think our guys had a good, time here and in a few days to, not necessarily decompress, but they got to see their family and friends and people who came in for the game. And I know our donors have had a good time. So
yeah, well, that's most important for us.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll say this about Spencer. I mean, not to speak, negatively whatever on previous coaches, but it seems like one thing as a strength of his is that giving the players the family time, mixing the work with the experience of a college football athlete. And I've said this a couple of times. There was a previous coach here. I asked him one time about when they came to Hawaii about giving the guys a chance, to go to the beach. And he said they'll see the beach twice, when we land and when we take off. Right. And he said it kind of tongue in cheek, but not really. I mean, it's kind of like we're here for a business trip. And I know there's a fine line. This isn't a bowl game, and they weren't out there all day surfing. But I mean, to get an hour last night, an hour the night before, 2 hours, whatever it was, to see their family, to take a walk. You guys are staying on the beach, so I don't know if the guys had a chance to take a dip in the pool or just to have a little bit of free time. What have you noticed from that aspect of Spencer? I've heard that when he took over last year, one of the first things he did was give an extra hour the night before games for parents. Like, some of that small stuff that it seems like really adds up is a strength of Spencer's.
100%. Faith, family, football. Family's a priority. And, you got to see the guys. And honestly, you can't probably do what Spencer does if we just didn't have incredible kids. They are unbelievable off the field. We don't worry about them. I don't know if I've ever had the least problems I've had is with our football program. And that's a testament to the kids. That's a testament to the coaches and the leadership. When you have guys like Ashton and Ahmed and they're not missing curfew. They're getting in and they understand what's at stake and they're here to play football. And so it means a lot to them. I know their families and be able to spend an extra hour with them. And I know it means a lot to Spencer. We're here to pour into these kids and this is our family and we're responsible for them while they're away from home. And so I'm really grateful for how he's operating.
Speaking of Spencer, we had Rachel Danielson on, at the beginning of the show, and obviously you're close with her and Spencer and the whole family, but she was talking about the last year from her perspective and just everything that's gone down, and then him getting interim, then getting head coach, and now what he's done with it. And she said she's, obviously, biased, but not surprised one bit with what he's been able to do with this team since he took over. When you think back to the last year and how it's all played out and where you guys are now ranked number 17 and you got a Heisman candidate and you're pushing towards hopefully a bid in the CFP, I think I've asked you versions of this before, but it really couldn't have played out much better to this point than it has.
Could not have written it any better. You said it. And, obviously when you're making decisions like I did last year, and when you look at the future of our program, that was a priority. But it started with him as a person and his integrity and character and all of those qualities. Ultimately winning is hard. And yeah, do you want to win every game, and do you want to be in a position that we're ultimately in? Absolutely. But it's that what's next mentality, and to see him go to work and what he did at the end of last season and what he did in the off season and how they're recruiting. You plan the work the plan, and that's what they've done. And our team has stepped up, and they're embracing those challenges. Everyone is bringing their best. This is everyone's Super Bowl when they play us, and we know we have a bullseye on our back. And to be able to embrace that and really show up week in and week out. I couldn't have asked for anything more, BJ. Spencer's an unbelievable person, and the people that he has around him, his staff, and it's been amazing, quite honestly. And I don't know what else I could ask for.
I know at the time it seemed like obviously a big win. I don't think anyone realized how big of a win when Spencer got Ashton Jeanty to decide to stay, and to see from that day when he said I'm staying, and to where that's also kind of built, and now you don't go a show or a scroll on Twitter for more than 10 tweets before somebody national is talking about him saying something. Nick Saban did his film study today on game day about him. Like he was on SportsCenter the other day. Like, what has that been like as an athletic director to see the because I jokingly said whatever the NIL money was, it was worth every penny to the school as well, because you're seeing all this extra. And it's a way it works both ways, where you guys are seeing all this promotion. I mean, they on the Saturday slate where they're showing random games on game day, they put Boise State, Hawaii on there just so they could mention Ashton Jeanty. They never would have done that before. Like, what is his rise and his season done indirectly to help? You're right, the university, the athletic department, and it all seems like it's a really nice match here.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about the 20,000 plus season tickets and 6 games, 6 sellouts, all that started in the offseason. We had a plan around his campaign, and Ashton's game is speaking for itself. Our plan has somewhat gone out the window because everyone else is telling the story that we were prepared to tell. Yeah. And it goes back to being prepared for the success when it happens. And that goes to our team. And Ashton is just a phenomenal person. Yes, he's an elite football player, but he's even better off the field, and how he treats his teammates and how they've embraced it. That's hard when you have a guy that's getting that much coverage. But then you have a guy like Ashton that shows up every day, gives 100%, is complimentary of his teammates. I've heard him talk about his offensive line and what the defense is doing, and all the coaches. And that's a testament to him, and it's a testament to the culture that Spencer's building. It takes a team. It's not one individual, and Ashton represents that at such a high level for us. And you look at what it's doing, not just for our athletic department, but our institution. Mm-hmm. We are the biggest game in the state, and now the world is recognizing again that blue is powerful, and the players that are on it and what they're doing off of it. And we're embracing that and trying to utilize that momentum to really push fundraising and our collective. We need the collective. That is a priority. People need to start embracing that, because that is the day and age we are in. And it's always what's next, and we're going to continue to move.
We got a watch party tonight with the collective down at House of Western Bar National. I know Winston Venables, the special captain down there. We're going to check in. We're going to check in with him actually in a little bit. But if folks are looking for a spot to go watch the game, go support the collective. I think 10% of all the sales tonight goes directly to the collective, and we're doing that with Joe Nickel with every road game this season. So I know it's a late night, but if you're looking for somewhere to do, go watch the game there. I'm not sure what you're willing to say about this, but the Pac-12, it's been kind of quiet the last couple of weeks. We saw the reports that the media evaluation is underway before anything else happens. What from your perspective can you say, I guess, just about the status of looking for more teams and where things are at right now?
I said this very early on. We have a process, and we're sticking to that process and their strategy to it. And, when everyone was freaking out, we knew what was next, and ultimately getting the Zags and how that momentum has impacted what we're building. Hopefully people trust us, and there's obviously still more work to be done, but I'm concerned about winning this football game, and that's a priority for me, and everything else is going to take care of itself. And we have unbelievable partners in the Pac-12 and Navigate and everyone who's working behind the scenes. We are following a very specific plan, and we are sticking to that plan. And so far it has really worked out in our favor, and really grateful for all the leadership that has gone into that and how it's impacting us. We're already seeing the fruits of our labor in terms of that decision. In terms of basketball, I think we're over 9,000 season tickets. We're not just a football program. It is dominoing into every other sport program that we have. And that's the impact when you make a decision like that. And I'm really looking forward to what's next.
Speaking of Gonzaga, has Leon already put in his 2 years notice, I guess, so he doesn't have to coach? Is he going to be retired before
excited.
that?
Leon's excited. He's him and Huey are family. And so he's excited. And you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And we want to play the best competition. And we're not just, like I said, a football program. We have basketball and soccer and golf and tennis and all these sports that are really stepping up. And to have the Zags come in across the board, quite honestly, but in men's and women's basketball specifically, that's so cool for our community. And I know we have a lot of alums, in town, and it's really opened us up to a whole other pipeline of people that are buying into what we're building as the Front Porch Idaho.
And stay tuned next week. We'll be in Vegas for Basketball Media Days. They got the joint WCC Mountain West Media Days again, and we do have the joint interview with Leon Rice, Mark Few set up for Media Days. So stay tuned for that next week. Final thing or two for Jeremiah Dicky, Boise State Athletic Director. You had your Will Ferrell bat signal tweets coming out here. Not to have you make the announcements now, but it sounds like there's some good news coming, and it sounds like with, I don't know whether it's, North End Zone related or what we're talking about here, but it seems like that things are still rolling. And I know with that project, you're, on pace, hopefully, right, to get the final approvals here in the near future and get shovel in the ground, after the season ends.
That's right. I go to the Lewiston next week for the state board meeting. Looking forward to that. BJ, at any given point in time, not just myself, but our team, we have probably 10 announcements that we're just waiting. And there's a very specific strategy to when we announce, whether it's a gift, whether it's North End Zone, and there's so many other things that we're working on. It's always what's next. Our team doesn't stop. Last week was a huge week for our BAA team. They are killing it. And part of that is the momentum from football, but then you're also seeing basketball, and the national coverage we're starting to get in basketball. And it matters. It's making a difference. And Bronco Nation is stepping up, and hopefully they're all listening. Thank you. We need it. It takes a team. I cannot do it alone. We are not magicians, but we will do the work. And we're going to roll up our sleeves and people like Cody and Jake Thompson and Jake Menken and Brian Bills. And I can't say enough about them. They don't stop. And as I'm traveling around and doing conferences and dealing with realignment and state board in terms of North End Zone, these guys are in the office and they're just grinding, and it takes a team, and I can't thank those guys enough.
So when you go to Lewiston next week, is that the final approval to make this thing happen, or what's the timetable?
I believe next week is the financing package.
Okay.
So we already got the construction in August. Yep. The next week is financing,
but I mean, if that goes through,
we're off and running.
Okay, and the plan is still sometime after the season, hopefully early 2025, to get the shovel in the ground, or
my hope is after the Potato Bowl.
Wow. Okay.
So we want to move quickly. A lot of that's going to depend on weather, and we still have some more work to do. I mean, we're selling at a very high level. We'll start releasing some of those numbers, and right now it's just getting in front of our donors and locking them in terms of their term sheet. But we are making progress, and I'm already thinking about what's next in terms of the next project, whether it's Extra Mile or Eastside Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, this is you've had 3 straight sellouts, and you got to feel pretty good about this 6 games, 6 sellouts.
I feel great about it. The Bronco Nation needs it. Don't do it for me. Do it for our team, for our community. Support these student athletes. It's amazing what they are doing on and off the field of play. They represent us at such a high level. I could not be prouder of them as their leader. And you're going to miss out. Ashton's a generational talent, and Bronco Nation is stepping up. I think we're over 95% in all 3 of those games.
Yep.
And those games matter. We have the opportunity to do something epic. 1-0 today, and that's always going to be our mentality. But we're building for epic, and we get to live that in action now.
I guess final thing, just your thoughts on this game tonight, and obviously been a fun trip. You could cap it off with a nice win and a safe trip back home. But I mean, every game now gets you one step closer to some of these big time goals. And I guess just as an athletic director, as the calendar keeps moving, the games keep getting more important. Just your thoughts on this one tonight.
Yeah, Hawaii's a great program, and I know they're working on building a new stadium, and I think very highly of their athletic director, and they're doing good work. And every team that we play this year is this is their Super Bowl. I know they sold out tonight. I know it's not going to be easy, and we have to bring our best. And ultimately, we had a great week of practice, and in talking to our coaches and our student athletes, they're here to do work, and I'm grateful for that. And it's 1-0 mentality. I've seen a pretty good amount of Boise State fans, though, walking the streets and on the beach. And I had a random guy from Connecticut come say he watches the shows and was a pleasure meeting me. And we've had a lot of people. I'd say you're going to have,
obviously you're not going to have the advantage, but I think you're going to have a nice little contingent tonight. There was one road game folks wanted to pick to come to. This seemed like a good one.
Oh, for sure. And Bronco Nation travels well. And so this was a great one. We had a lot of people that got here early, going to stay after. I love it. That makes this place special, and that's a testament to Bronco Nation and their support.
We appreciate you, as always, Jeremiah, for coming up here and
Thank you, BJ.
coming on, and always appreciate the time.
Go Broncos. Thank you, Bronco Nation.
Best of luck tonight. There he is, Jeremiah Dicky, Boise State Athletic Director, joining us here on Bronco Nation News. This is the Lithia Ford Boise pregame show. We are rolling along as we get you set for kickoff. Boise State and Hawaii coming up in about an hour and 10 minutes. We got a ton still to get to. We're going to take one more commercial break. We're going to hear from Keanohi Kaniho on being back in his home state. We're going to hear from Keaton Nate Davis, the operations director, on what it's like to get the football team over here. Stephen Tsai from the Honolulu newspaper is going to join us as well. We're going to keep this thing going. Don't go anywhere. Get your score predictions in. Let us know where you're watching from. We appreciate you guys. One quick timeout. We're right back here on Bronco Nation News, live from Honolulu as we get you set for Boise State and Hawaii. We'll be right back right after this. The fall kickoff sale is underway at Lithia Ford Boise. Check out their full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. They've got NIL deals with 6 student athletes at Boise State, including 4 football players: Jonah Dalmas, Ahmed Hassanin, Matt Lauder, and Andrew Simpson. They're all rocking rides from Lithia Ford Boise, and you can as well. The Raines family purchased our F-150 a couple years ago from Lithia. Couldn't be happier with the customer service. We still get the free lifetime oil changes. Always enjoy coming back and seeing Jim and his staff, so friendly. And our salesperson, Kim, did a tremendous job helping us out every step of the way, still sends us a Christmas card. So check them out, that fall kickoff sale. You looking for the F-150, the Ford Bronco, the E-Mach Ford Mustang, all their vehicles. Again, view them online, lithiafordboise.com. Check them out on Fairview in Boise, Lithia Ford of Boise. Taco Bell is hiring. You can get more information at TacoBellWorks.com. The Treasure Valley Taco Bell stores offering free food while you work, half your wages the next day after you work, great promotional opportunities, and more. It's a great environment, and if you're looking for a job, highly recommend Taco Bell. You can apply at TacoBellWorks.com, and you can also get more information there about the giving efforts of Taco Bell, the SON Management Group, and the Nicolason family. The student endowed scholarships for the men's and women's basketball team, yep, they come from SON Management Group and the Nicolason family. Get more information, apply for a job, go eat at Taco Bell. Check them out, TacoBellWorks.com. You looking for that new jersey or shirt for game day? Head on in to the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. You can order anywhere in the world, but if you're in the Boise area, I highly recommend just going to the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall next to Pro Image. The Blue and Orange Store, whether it's coaches' sideline apparel, jerseys, caps, bumper stickers, car flags, you name it, they've got it at the Blue and Orange Store. Again, all your Boise State gear. I know there's a lot of places in town you can choose to go shopping for Boise State gear, but if you want the most comprehensive selection and you want to help a great guy in Travis Hawks, who's been a big supporter from day one of Bronco Nation News, check them out, the Blue and Orange Store, online, theblueandorangestore.com. Maybe you never thought about getting into the trucking industry, but if you're looking for a career change, you should. Transportation Compliance Service. It's a local company based in the Treasure Valley, helping folks all over the world get into the trucking industry, whether it's the DOT overweight permits, all the paperwork, everything you need to get out there towing that first load in no time, they can help you out. Those that try to do it themselves, in fact, 75% that try to do it themselves end up going out of business. Let the professionals handle the paperwork so you can get out there on the open road. Check them out, transcomservice.com, 866-813-7620. Again, Transportation Compliance Service, transcomservice.com. On the go, don't have enough time to cook up a nice meal, but don't want to always be eating out fast food. You want a cheap option, you want a healthy option, well, I got it for you. LeanFeastMeridian.com. You make your order on a Sunday or Monday, they deliver the food to your house, and all week you've got your meals from Lean Feast. I'm talking chicken, steak, fish, shrimp, turkey, you name it, they got it all. It's 2 minutes in the microwave. You can have them in your fridge for up to 5 days. It's all healthy, all different kinds of diets, 10,000 plus combinations. The graphic on the bottom of the screen there is wrong. It is leanfeastmeridian.com. Check them out, leanfeastmeridian.com. Tell them you heard about it on Bronco Nation News. They'll hook you up with a sweet deal. And again, no excuse to not eat healthy now because they deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley. It's Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com. Former Boise State quarterback and longtime coach Mike Sanford joins local sports talk radio host Johnny Mallory for football talk with a unique perspective. They'll talk Boise State, college football, and beyond. Check it out every Wednesday at 8 on Bronco Nation News. Back here live on the Lithia Ford Boise pregame show. We're at the Clarence T.C. Ching Complex in Honolulu, Hawaii. This is a live look. You see Boise State on the field down there going through some early calisthenics and stretching. That'll be the Boise State corner over there where some of the fans are already seated. We're about an hour away from kickoff. The sun is beginning to set, but it is hot and it is humid. It reminds me of Georgia Southern, to be honest. You got some nicer looking palm trees, but the way the sun is shining right now, it is right, at least from where we're at, in our eyes here. It is a hot one, and we'll see if that's obviously a factor or not in the game tonight. But again, thank you to all of our subscribers. Thank you to all of our advertisers. We would not be here. And again, I don't say this to gloat and brag, but Bronco Nation News, the only local media outlet that made the trip to come here and cover this game, and it's a $2,000 plus, dollar expense when you're talking round trip airfare, hotel, what comes with this trip. It's only possible because of rowpaint.com, from Western Collective, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, all of our great sponsors that I'm leaving out, and I shouldn't, and I apologize, but Taco Bell, ICCU, all of our big-time sponsors, Jackson's, Snake River Pool and Spa, Signature Roofing. Get your Signature Roofing voicemails in. I mean, all of our sponsors. We got 13 of them. We would not be here without our sponsors. So thank you so much to all of our sponsors for making this trip possible. Thank you to all of our our paying subscribers, almost 1,000 of you as a paying subscriber for making this possible. We really, really appreciate you guys for helping us out here. And again, very prideful to say that Bronco Nation News, the only local outlet that made the trip. So if you want to see post-game video from Spencer Danielson, you're only going to see that on the Lithia Ford Boise post-game show. You're only going to see the player interviews on the post-game show, and your only live look at the field right now is here on Bronco Nation News. Thanks to all of you guys for your support. So appreciate all you guys. Keep getting your score predictions in. Keep getting your thoughts in. But a lot goes into getting Boise State over here on the islands. Keaton Davis, the operations coordinator, I had a chance to catch up with him at the hotel. Let's hear from Keaton Davis. What goes in to bringing a football team all the way to Hawaii?
A road trip with the football team, a little different coming over to Hawaii, obviously. Just take us through this one.
Yeah, for us, from an operations standpoint, it's the same for us. We still got to get a team to a destination to play a football game. So our operations team, which includes Charlotte Siegel, our chief of staff, myself, operation coordinator, and then Cole Siebert, our graduate assistant for operations, as well as our nutrition team. So shout out to Sam, to Jamie, and to Nikki, and recruiting department to kind of just make all the pieces and the parts, all the logistics fall into place for something like this. But for us, this is just our normal operation, getting the team to a place to play a game.
But obviously not a normal trip. No equipment truck going ahead of time. Like, what are the challenges, differences coming to Hawaii?
The bigger thing is obviously we need a bigger plane because you can't drive an equipment truck across the Pacific. Getting a bigger plane, just a little bit larger belly, being able to store everything on the underneath. To ship it all the way out here. We definitely don't bring as much as we normally do on our road trips, just the stuff that we can consolidate and kind of put into smaller bins, if you will, but definitely just a bigger plane.
So what kind of stuff do you have to leave behind? Coaches don't get as many layers of jackets or something?
Yeah, luckily we don't have to bring all the winter gear to Hawaii, when it's 80 degrees and 80% humidity. So, but we just just consolidate all the clothes and all the gear, all the shoes, just kind of make as little as possible to bring over to Honolulu.
How many people are in the traveling party? I mean, just what is, I know you come over here a day early, what all has to go right? And there's just a lot that people don't know about or don't see behind the scenes to make this thing run smoothly.
Yeah, so Cole and I advance prior to the team coming a day early. Cole's main priorities are the buses, the police escort, if we have one, as well as the FBO, the airplane, everything, the arrival process. He'll take care of that at the airport. I stay at the hotel. I manage the room keys, work with the hotel staff to make sure that all the meeting room spaces are set up and ready to go. Just a lot of the logistics that we plan all week for a 5-minute arrival process, just so everyone's happy and everyone can get to their room in a timely manner. Because at the end of the day, it is a business trip and we are here for one reason and one goal.
How important is it that everything runs smoothly and just small? I'm sure some coaches handle it better than others, but small hiccups and things that aren't ready, and just how important is it that when the coaches and players are here, they're able to just have the normal routine and focus on what they need to and not have to deal with whatever problems could arise?
Definitely. We, our number one goal as an operations department is to not have hiccups, not have mistakes. But in our ops world, that is a very difficult thing to have. There are going to be things that you cannot control, things that are out of your touch, and you just kind of have to roll with those things as they come. But you obviously, you want to plan for all those things that can go wrong, all those mistakes that might happen. You try to get ahead of them before they do happen, just to limit as much as a negative experience for the coaches and staff and the players. But as long as we can do it in a timely way, and we like to live by the rule that, like, if no one notices anything, then you did a job that was handled well and successful.
So what is there something that has gone wrong this year, or something that you guys have had to on the fly change or fix, or what's an example of something like that?
We might have the plane might show up early, and you just lost 30 minutes of time that you used to check all the room keys, or a meal set for 6 o'clock, and the team shows up at 5:30, and you gotta speed things up, or your transition has to be a little bit quicker, just stuff like that. We haven't had any issues yet, and we're not going to, because that's the way that we operate as a staff. But so far, nothing bad this year.
And I know some of you, I don't know if you're included in it, but it's like actually over the summer or spring, like come out early to all the road trips and see the hotel and see the drive to the stadium or the practice is going to be. Like, you guys put a ton of work into this ahead of time.
Absolutely. Charlotte is, I will just say, Charlotte's the best in the business when it comes to the travel aspect. She spent a lot of time in her career from the travel logistics and like becoming the best professional that she could in that realm. So having a boss like her is super important for me when I'm learning all these objectives and things to look for and things to plan for. And so our operation and our process is, after we finish our season, usually January, February, March, we look at the schedule. We see who's on the schedule for next year. If it's a place that she has been before, usually she's got the contacts to know, is this a place that can hold us based on is it the meeting space, the meal assignments, like can they hold a football team? And so to be able to do that, if it's a place that we haven't been before, we have the opportunity to go site visit. And so we'll go check out, go see, we'll walk the place, we'll tour it, we'll make the decision. Can they hold us, knowing all of our needs and our wants to operate successfully?
The communication with the coaching staff and with, I guess, Coach Danielson in particular, are there certain things he likes? Do you know how certain things have to be? Just what's it like dealing with different coaches and their preference on trips?
Yeah, Coach D has his ways. Like you said, all coaches do it differently. They have their own, routine, their differences. There's a lot of stuff that people don't see on camera. A lot of hidden behind the scenes stuff that makes them function successfully. Definitely not a guy who pays attention to a lot of the detail in a way that it just, like, he trusts us into doing our jobs, and he knows that we're going to get it done and get it done in the right way. And so having that relationship with Coach D is very important in the way that we successfully operate our team.
So a normal fan, whatever, looks and says, okay, the trip's, a win is the ultimate goal, which is for you guys as well. But with so much more that goes into it, I mean, when that charter lands back in Boise at 10 a.m. on Sunday, you got the win, you didn't forget anything at the hotel. Like, when are you able to take a deep breath, I guess, from an operations standpoint? And when is it when the plane takes off and you just take a deep breath, like you leave the island? Like, what's that feeling like, and especially after a game with so much to do in such little time, to get this thing completed? I guess, what's the satisfaction like after a trip?
So I know me and our staff, we'll get back to Boise, and it's funny, we'll take a deep breath when we land back in Boise, but it is immediately Sunday rolls around and we're ready to go for Vegas. Luckily, we have an extra week to work with a bye, but we're already getting ready for the UNLV game. We're getting everything ready for the hotel, all the meetings, all the meals, getting everything in line with our team to make sure that trip is just as successful as anyone else.
Is it a fun feeling? I mean, you're kind of behind the scenes. Not a lot of fans will ever know who you are or what you do, but you maybe have it as important job as anybody to make this thing run smoothly. You said your whole staff kind of take a sense of pride in being behind the scenes, a pretty big part of all this.
Definitely. We are a group that we're okay with not being recognized. I think it's important to know that operations is a job that you're not always going to get the credit. You're not going to get the thank yous. It's a very, effortless, thank you less job. But that's the kind of people that we are, is you have to have that mindset that you just gotta grind and you gotta work, and there's a lot that goes into it, and you just gotta, those moments make you know that you did a good job. If you're not told by anyone anything, and no one noticed any hiccups or anything that might have impacted you, you did a good job in that sense.
So I guess final thing, I mean, this trip, you mentioned a bigger plane, less stuff, like any other challenges in particular with this one? I know you mentioned no escort, at least coming from the hotel, but just this trip in particular, getting on a plane, 6-hour flight, just what all goes into this trip?
I mean, it's just, obviously you're in a beautiful place in Hawaii. There's a little bit more distraction that there would be in a normal road trip. In the States, you got the ocean, the nice weather, the beaches. There's a lot of things to take our eyes away, but Coach D is very adamant on we're here for one thing and one thing only, and that is a business trip. And we're still here to accomplish the goals that we've set at task at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of the month, at the beginning of the week, and we're here for one thing and for one thing only.
All right, bring you back live here. Maybe my favorite guest I've been waiting all week to talk to, the great Stephen Tsai, Honolulu Star advertiser. You do a tremendous job, sir. How many years covering Hawaii now? Hold on. I got you muted here. Hold on a second there. Okay. All right, there you go.
It's my 44th year with the paper.
So, 44 years with the newspaper.
32 years covering, or
32 years covering. Wow.
Yeah.
And it's been quite the ride. Different conferences, different leagues, different stadiums.
Yeah, this is quite a different stadium too. As everybody knows, the Lowe Stadium has been shuttered for spectator events because of safety issues, and they erected this. And this could be gone anytime because these are all leased seats. So if anyone at home, would like a stadium at the backyard, you can take this one home.
That's pretty funny. What is the plan here long term with the situation with the stadium?
Well, I think if the Lowe Stadium replacement gets built, that'll be probably in time for 2028 season. Then they would turn this into a big giant practice field. I mean, so right now they don't have a grass practice field. It used to be over there, but they're building a track and a soccer complex. So,
and were you the one telling me at times they were having to practice the offense and defense at different times?
Yeah, that was the plan. Now they just kind of put them in different places. So sometimes when the offense is trying to work down the corner, then they'll kind of move their linemen and just throw more to the right than to the left.
Again, Stephen Tsai with the Honolulu Star advertiser giving us the perspective of Hawaii as we get set for this matchup and roll along here on the Lithia Ford Boise pregame show. My name is BJ Rains, and this is Bronco Nation News live, the only outlet from Boise here live in Honolulu, getting you set for Boise State and Hawaii here in about an hour or so. What do you make of this Hawaii team? And I do want to ask you, by the way, about the Mountain West and expansion and all that stuff, but this matchup first, this game.
By the way, do you notice the music? That's Timmy Chang's way of trying to lull Boise State.
I was going to say something about that. They don't exactly have the pump up, rap, jock jams. They're literally playing, what is this? Just some
Hawaiian music.
Hawaiian music.
Try to soothe everybody and get them. Hopefully, Genty will get that rage, quieted down.
And they do that all the way up to kickoff. This is it.
Yes, they do.
Wow.
And then, even when they introduce the team, it's more of a sort of a Hawaiian flavor.
Wow. And I did notice, by the way, some fans that don't even have tickets to the game. They just sit over here in the parking garage and watch the game.
Right, but I think they clear them out over there.
Okay, I saw a couple people, family looks like they had lawn chairs and stuff ready to watch the game over there.
That's one of the tough things about this place. They don't have tailgating, so
because there's just no lots.
Yeah. So they were trying to have them off campus and bring them in here.
What's the student support like?
It's been pretty good. It'll be on that section over there. That big empty section right now.
Yeah. 15,000, I believe, and it's sold out. If you do have a question or a comment for Stephen on the Hawaii perspective, let us know. Again, been with the paper 44 years covering Hawaii football and things out here on the island. But Timmy Chang, the run and shoot, 2-3, but talking to Rich Waltz, the play-by-play guy for CBS Sports, really hammered home the fact that they could and maybe should be 4-1 when you think about the UNLV or the UCLA game, the game against San Diego State last week. What's your take on where this team is at and 2-3 coming into this one?
Yeah, it's been a little bit tough, and both of their victories have been against FCS teams. So for both considerations because they're only playing a 12-game schedule. They could play 13 because Hawaii gets a Hawaii exemption, but they're only playing 12, so they have to go 7-5 to be in consideration for a bowl game since one of the FCS victories doesn't count.
Okay. Are they better than 2 and 3 though? I mean, what are
they are. But they're also going through an adjustment. Timmy Chang played in a pure run and shoot under June Jones as a player, but as a coach, he was under Jay Norville at Nevada, and he ran a lot of air raids. So in recent weeks, they've been trying to introduce some air raid systems into the run and shoot. So the intent was to go pure run and shoot, but now it's a little bit of a mixture.
Now we look at some of the stats. I mean, defensively, one of the top-ranked defenses, the top-ranked defense in the Mountain West.
Particularly against the rush.
Okay, so are they feeling like they're going to be able to shut Genty down tonight, or?
Well, they think they can get to him. Whether they can tackle him is another thing. A lot of people get to him.
Keep this. There you go.
A lot of people get to him, but he just kind of goes past everybody.
Yeah.
So, and they'll do a lot of different things. They basically run a 4-2-5 defense. Wait, that's up to 11,
yes.
Right? Yes. But sometimes they'll bring in a fifth.
And they got a former NFL DC on staff now.
Right. Dennis Thurman is coaching the.
And where was he with?
Defense. He was DC with previous to coming here. He was with Colorado under with Deion
But I know
Sanders.
he was an NFL DC, or was it Jets or where?
He was with
Bills.
The Jets and the Bills.
Okay.
So he was under Rex Ryan. So Rex Ryan's Buddy Ryan's son. So they run a little bit of that 46 defense that the Chicago Bears used to run.
Is it just the formation? I mean, who are the star players? Why has the defense been so strong this year?
Well, they're pretty good at the back end, and the front side's really interesting. Their best defensive lineman or interior defensive lineman is Ezra Ivamalo, and he's only 260 pounds, but he's got this incredible punch. Everyone calls him like the Mike Tyson of the team because he's hard to block because he'll just shove you off, and it's kind of a little bit same as like Genty, right? Genty had that nice little
stiff arm.
Jab.
Now on the other side of the ball, boys. Okay, so we'll see. Their defense playing pretty well. They feel like they're good at stopping the run. The matchup with Genty there might at least suit them a little bit better than some teams. On the other side of the ball, Boise State's pass defense not very good statistically, one of the worst in the country. Only one interception. They're 124th in passing yards allowed per game. And here's a Hawaii offense ranked number 37 in passing offense, that run and shoot with Schreger and what they're doing. Tell us about the offense, and do they think they're going to be able to move the ball through the air against Boise State tonight?
Well, it's kind of interesting. Braden Schreger's really kind of struggled a little bit on the shorter routes, especially across the middle, because he loves to go to the slot backs cutting across. But he does really well on the deeper routes. And in fact, they call his deep passes Schreger bombs.
The Schreger bombs.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, so he's got T-shirts and everything there, but he's got an incredibly strong arm and everything, and sometimes too strong. I think a lot of times on the shorter routes he'll throw a little too hard for the receivers. So they've been trying to tell him, and it's interesting. Problem telling the guy not to throw as hard, but I guess sometimes he has to because of the way the offensive line's been struggling. He wants to release it quicker, and a lot of times it leads faster pass.
We're taking some comments and questions here on the ICCU YouTube chat. It's way over here, so I apologize. Someone's saying you're a little quiet there. I'm going to turn your mic up a little bit. But Benson wants to know who is a sneaky good Hawaii player that hasn't had the stats to back it up. So if you're just looking at the stats, maybe he won't pop out. But who's the guy that Boise State fans should be looking out for tonight?
Oh, look out for Tylen Hines, who's a really good running back as a freshman 2 years ago. They wanted to get him the ball more and sort of get him out in space. So last year they moved into wide out. Then he played a little bit of slot back, but he's back at running back now. He's not the starter, but he's pretty strong. I think he benches 400 pounds, and he's a short guy, but he's really quick and everything. And he'll get a lot of work in the right back today.
All right. So this matchup tonight, 20-point spread, 20.5, something like that. I mean, what's the feeling amongst fans, the program, just this getting a top 20 team to come over here in a sold out crowd? I mean, are they thinking they can keep this thing close?
Well, they were. I guess fans were pretty surprised that they kept it close with UCLA. I know UCLA is having a down year, but it's sort of the same sort of enthusiasm with Boise State coming in, and of course, they know about Boise State, they know about the tradition and everything, but that's it. They get fired up, even though they're taking some shots or from Boise that they kind of think be an interesting game, and they look up to it, look forward to it.
What is the atmosphere here like? I mean, and compared to Aloha Stadium, I would assume that place always felt empty. It wasn't, they would have more maybe than 15,000, but they rarely packed that place. At least the times I've come over here. I mean, does this make for a more festive kind of?
Yeah, when it's packed, it'll be rocking. And it's and they're not really used to it. They have a lot of aluminum seats and everything. They're not used to it. They used to have individual seats at Aloha Stadium. So because of the heat and everything, a lot of fans will be standing.
Yeah. Makes a noise too when you're banging on those seats and stuff. All right, the Pac-12, Mountain West, all that stuff that's going on. What's the Hawaii perspective? I know there's been some talk about them maybe wanting to join in all sports to the Mountain West. Do you think that might happen? What do you make of Hawaii joining the Mountain West in all sports?
I think so. I think that's going to happen.
I told you already. There you go. Angle it towards your mouth a little bit.
Okay, I think that's going to happen just because they want security. That's about security. The more teams you have, then if you're just only a football affiliate, football-only member, it's easier to get kicked out. It's easier to not get the sort of the due they expect. When it came to divvying up the money from all the exit fees and everything, they're only getting 5%.
Do they feel slighted by that?
I think they do. I'm sort of insulted by it too because they think they contribute a little bit more than a fifth of what UNLV or Air Force are getting. So I think yes, if they move into the league, it's with other sports. I think that's something that they'll feel a little bit more secure about. The only thing that's been a holdup, it's been a holdup for a lot of different things, is Hawaii has to pay travel subsidies to teams visiting Hawaii. And it ranges from $150,000 to teams from the Pacific time zone to $175,000 for teams from the Mountain time zone.
Okay.
So I think they would rather not pay. They don't like it. They don't mind paying it for football. I don't think they want to pay exorbitant amounts for their other sports.
So even a conference game like this, Boise State comes over here, they get $175,000 to help pay for travel.
And it has to be used for their charter.
Yeah.
Because I think UNLV once came over and they pocketed the money and flew commercial. So they said, can't do that.
UNLV sounds like
you got to spend some money.
Okay, all right. I like
they
that.
have UFC money, but they got to spend that.
So they felt slighted, but yet they want to join in all sports, I guess.
I think it's again for the security and everything. So
they're a little nervous as a football-only member, what their kind of standing is long-term?
Yeah, I think so. I think they've always wanted to be an all-sports member, but when they were invited in 2012, they said no, that we're only going to take your football team. And so Hawaii's been parked in the Big West, and they've been doing okay in the Big West.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's easier to travel, but the amount of money that the Big West teams invest in their programs is compared to what Hawaii does. And
people are liking that. I said, of course, UNLV would do the cheap thing there. So how do you mentioned that you think that they've done pretty well, but putting the other sports in the Mountain West, what do you make right now of the 7 teams or this current group of the Mountain West and with the Boise States of the world leaving to the Pac-12? And you've covered this league, like I said, for a long time here, and previous leagues and stuff. What do you make of just the whole teams leaving and where the Mountain West stands right now, what they need to do, and what you think the Pac-12 is doing too?
Well, the trouble is when you have the 2 Pac-12 holdovers and you have the 12 teams from the Mountain West, that's just only 14 teams. And if you want to have 2 18 teams leagues, 18 team leagues, you need to you still have to add 2 more to the equation. They added UTEP, and I guess they're adding some other non-football teams to the Pac-12. But it just seemed like it would have been a better idea just to merge it and merge the teams, whatever label you want to put it under. I think it just would have been better to merge the 2 leagues. And if I would have done that, if I were Oregon State and Washington State and just kept all those hundreds of millions to themselves, now they're paying it off to pay off other teams.
That would have seemed like that would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But if they can get Memphis or Tulane or some of those, we'll see. I don't know if they call it the Hawaii flu or whatever they call it, but these teams that come over here, I mean, they got the beach, they got the whatever they call that Waikiki Boulevard, the strip there with all the restaurants and shops and stuff. Like, do you notice when teams that are better teams come over here and struggle maybe because they're distracted, or does that happen?
I think so. I think you said that Boise State spent they had 2 hour free time.
A little bit of free time, both Thursday and Friday nights. Yep.
Yeah, there's some teams that spend a lot more time in the sun, and that does sap you. Especially when it's a later game, and there are there's not a lot of things to do while you're waiting for the game to start, especially when you play at night.
I mean, is that one of the reasons why Hawaii's record is just so much better at home? The challenges these visiting teams face coming over here.
I think so, and you've seen that locker room, right, for the visitors. So
I saw it over by the baseball stadium. I haven't been inside it though. It's pretty small.
That's an advantage for Hawaii.
What's it like?
Finally they have air conditioning, but there are a lot of teams that have complained that it was crap. You were in the concourse. Because again, this whole thing is just a temporary deal, but part of the locker room was the concourse, and so you'd have people selling hot dogs and stuff like that right next to the cordoned off area. So it's a little bit different now. It's a little better.
What is your take on this matchup tonight as we wrap this up? Just as I mentioned, Ashton Genty, number 17, Boise State coming over. Hawaii's been in some games, haven't been able to close them out.
Right. And they've done fairly well against some running backs, but not the caliber of Genty. But I think I don't know what containing him means. Is that like 150 yards or something?
Yeah.
In 3 quarters. I guess that'd be containing him. But I think the biggest problem for Hawaii is just the overall Boise State offense. Boise's got just amazing offense, and I think the receivers just haven't yet had to do their thing yet. So
top defense in the league, though. Should be a good game, hopefully.
Should be an interesting game.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm not sure if there's anything better than sitting for 3.5 hours in a press box here in the nitwittery of Stephen Tsai. I can't wait to hear some of the comments and jokes and things. Known you for a decade plus. It's been great. I love it. Is your son still working at the Polynesian Cultural Center?
No, he's actually pursuing his MBA now at UCLA.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so he's leaving, I think, Tuesday.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congrats to him. I was thinking about taking the family over there tomorrow night. We're looking for one more thing to do, so I was going to see if he was still over there. But.
Yeah, well, you always tell your kids, don't play with fire. That's what he does. These fire dances, fire knife dances.
That's pretty cool, man. Hey, thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it.
What's the website? StarAdvertiser.com? StarAdvertiser.com. Go support him. Read his stuff. And you just one of the best in the business covering college football on the West Coast and Mountain West. Again, 44 years with the paper. So let's make sure there's no let's see other comments here. Someone says, what do you think about Boise State's recruiting on the islands? They've had some famous players over here.
They've done really well.
Yeah.
It might be more interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens when they're not in the same league. But I think it's such an outstanding program, national program. They should do well over here.
Stephen, appreciate you, man. Stephen Tsai, there he is.
Learn how to hold a microphone.
Yes, you got to get it more like directional there. We appreciate it, Stephen. Thank you so much. Tell him to save some food for me in there. Stephen Tsai does a great job covering Hawaii for the Star Advertiser. You see behind me some of Boise State's players making their way onto the field. Boise State going with the white helmets, the white jerseys, and the blue pants. I really like this look tonight for Boise State. You've got the kick returners out there. You've got the quarterbacks. Players starting to trickle out in full uniform. Again, Boise State in white helmets, white jerseys, blue pants. And you see down there in the corner of the end zone, that'll be where Boise State's spot is. And again, really appreciate all you guys that have supported us. We're an hour and 23 minutes going strong here. We're going to hear from our man Keanohi Kaniho here in just a minute. But I just want to thank all you guys again. It's not bragging. It's not conceited. It may sound like that, and I guess in a way it kind of is. But Bronco Nation News is the only media outlet over here at this game, and it's thanks to you guys. So really appreciate you guys for making this possible. Live coverage right now that you're not getting anywhere else, thanks to you guys. I mean, yeah, we're here, but this costs money, and we're doing this here because of you guys at Bronco Nation News. I'm looking out there, and I see a player that's not suited up. It looks like Breezy Dubar is wearing shorts. No Breezy Dubar tonight for Boise State. That's going to be a big loss. James Ferguson Reynolds also is in shorts. He is out tonight. So no Ferguson Reynolds, no Dubar, and no Sire Gaines tonight. So you're going to get a lot of Ashton Genty and a lot of Dylan Riley and Tyler Crow probably tonight for Boise State. I do see Latrell Capel's out there again, looking good for him in the return game. Maybe he'll be a bigger part of the offense as well. But the breaking news, I guess, here is no Breezy Dubar. He is out again after making his return last week. And that's big news for the Boise State running back group. And then also, as I said, doesn't look like James Ferguson Reynolds is going again either. So some key injuries for Boise State there. But again, as I was saying, thank you. All of our sponsors, there's 13 of them. I'm going to play a quick 25-second thing to thank our sponsors in a second. But we would not be here without our sponsors. We would not be here without you guys, almost 1,000 of you that subscribe and pay to make this possible. So hopefully if you're not a paying subscriber, you'll think about doing it. It's just $50 for a full year using that promo code BNN50deal that you see there at the bottom of your screen. So BNN50deal is the promo code, $50 for 365 days of coverage. And you help us be able to be the only media outlet in Boise. You know, you got Bob, you got Pete, you got the Bronco Radio Network here. But other than that, no independent outlets, no TV stations or newspapers made the trip. So we'll have our full post-game show as well, by the way. You'll hear exclusive interview with Spencer Danielson and players that you won't find anywhere else. So it's going to be late. It'll be 1 a.m. Mike Sanford's going to start the post-game show right after the game ends. So as soon as the game ends, you can switch over and watch Mike Sanford And then after that, I'll join him, and we'll have Spencer and some interviews. We'll go as late as we need to into the night tonight. So have some coffee and stay up with us tonight. But we're going to hear from Keanohi Kaniho, a pretty cool deal for him coming back to his homeland. But first, 25 seconds to thank our sponsors.
Bronco Nation News is presented by RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, by Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Western Collective, by Jackson's, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, by Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and by Timberstone Golf Course.
And our new sponsor that's not on there is our friends at Signature Roofing. Stay tuned for some cool RJ Keene content coming. But again, Signature Roofing voicemail line. If you want to leave us a voicemail on the postgame show, it's speakpipe.com/BNN. Speakpipe.com/BNN. Leave myself or Mike Sanford a voicemail. We'll try to play it on the postgame show. And thanks again to Signature Roofing. Okay, cool deal. Keanohi Kaniho. He's from the island. It's been 7 years in a row. Was it 8 now maybe? Since 2017, you've had a Kaniho on the roster. I guess 17, 18, 19, 20. I guess this is the 8th year you've had a Kaniho on the roster. Sorry, math was never my strong suit. And that's going to come to an end after the year. But Keanohi Kaniho, 45 career games played for Boise State, 3 career interceptions, has been a fixture of the Kaniho family, and now the last couple of years, Keanohi Kaniho out here for Boise State. He is back home to play in front of dozens, hundreds of family, friends, former coaches, teachers, and his son and daughter. He has 2 young kids. They're both going to see him play in person tonight. So let's hear. I had a chance before we flew out here to catch up one-on-one with Keanohi Kaniho. Let's hear that interview here as we continue to roll on. Again, Lithia Ford Boise pregame show. I hope you're having a Western Collective Horseshoe Golden Ale, one of the new Orange Chaos Seltzers. I hope you're enjoying a cold one from Western Collective and having fun as we get you set for kickoff. Here's Keanohi Kaniho on playing back home, and a cool moment for him.
Get to experience the outside world, and I mean, the Rock is just a rock, so it was a great experience to come out here and experience what else life has to offer.
What kind of pride do guys from there take in terms of football, and also like just being from there? What's you guys kind of a unique group? I mean, what's the pride like?
Yeah, a very tight knit group. I mean, we used to thing 808 on over everybody when we leave the island. So I mean, whatever high school rivalries we had going on, once we all leave, we all know like we're all together in this thing, and we're trying to perform for the island and show people that the island has kids that can play ball.
I was gonna say, I mean, there's a lot of, whether it be Kamale Correa or you go down the line, there's been a lot of great players that have come to Boise State too. What is it about just the history of Boise State and players from there?
I think we just fit in well with the culture here. We have a big culture back home, and everything is earned, never given. So we grew up like that, and coming here, we fit right in because it's the same things that we talk about with our families growing up. So,
how have you liked your experience here?
Loved it. It's been great. I mean, not only on the field, but off the field. I've built a ton of connections. I've become a better father, a better son, a better brother, and I've met some of my best friends here. So it's been awesome.
What I was going to ask about your kids, but just your whole family in general, just not being, I know you have a brother here, but for the most part, being so far away from family the last couple of years. I mean, just how you're not a guy that a lot of these kids on the bye week can just go home go home for a couple of days. That's probably not as easy for you. Last 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it's been. What's that been like, just being away from everybody?
It's been tough for sure. I mean, especially being away from the kids and knowing what my girlfriend has to go through with 2 now. She's doing it on her own, so I thank her for all the sacrifice she's made, allowing me to come up here and, like I said, meet my best friends. And it's crazy to think back that if she could have just told me, like, I need you here, I wouldn't have met anybody up here and wouldn't have got to my degree to better my kids' futures, not just mine. So, I mean, it's been tough, but it's all coming to an end, and it's been worth it, I feel like.
Is it kind of cool this year, too, that it's all set up, that this game's, going on?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I love it. I can't wait.
How many people are you expecting to have? Friends, family?
Ooh, 60s, 70s maybe?
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is a pretty small stadium, so you're going to be hearing them.
Yeah.
Have you ever played a game with one of your kids in the stands? I know they were been really little, but.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. They were up here for Portland State.
Oh, okay.
The whole family, a bunch of guys came out for that one. That was like our family trip game.
Okay.
So they were up here. My daughter finally stayed up the whole game. She usually, the past 2 years, she's been falling asleep in the stands, but she...
How old is she now?
5.
Okay, so does she kind of understand what Dad does?
Yeah, oh yeah. So, I mean, when it's time to leave, that's the hardest part. Even though I know I'm going to see them this week, when they left last week, it was like, Dad, I want you to come with us, stuff like that. So she's understanding now, but she knows that, I mean, I'll see her soon, and she has to help Mom.
Yeah, I don't know if you're an emotional guy or not, but whether it be another game or I don't know if this game's different, but just if you know, when you get out there on that field and you turn and look in the stands, and I mean, does it ever get emotional at all? Do you think this Saturday might be different just with where you're playing and stuff?
Yeah, I'm definitely an emotional guy, and I look at all those kinds of things with my family being in the stands and especially being back on the rock. So I'm just going to take it all in. It's extra motivation at the end of the day.
Now, like when she was first born or younger, she used to stay over here for a while, right, or not? Or has she always been over there the whole time? Or
they've always been over there.
Okay.
They would just come out a lot more often.
Okay.
Back when my mom was working with United, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so now
that was
it's
a great
tougher.
help. Yeah.
Okay. What is that? I can't imagine being away from my kids for that long. I mean, what did you just FaceTime 10 times a day, or how do you get it done?
Yeah, FaceTime anytime I have a chance. I mean, they're in school now, and so they're busy too.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing is just staying busy and not being in my room all day, just thinking about it and going out, doing stuff, hanging out with the guys. And yeah, FaceTime is how I get it done, really.
So how old's the youngest one?
7 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So is the plan, like as soon as the season's over, just pack up and get back there as soon as you can? Or are you hoping to keep doing something here and maybe they can eventually come out? Or what's kind of your plan?
Hoping to keep doing stuff out here, just use the connections I built. And I mean, I love the town and the city, so I'd love to move them out here. But at the end of the day, we'll see where work takes me. And I know that I'll be with them at the end of it. We'll be together wherever we end up.
How do you think you've played this year?
I think I've played okay. I mean, I've had my ups and downs, but I finally feel like I'm finding my rhythm again. And it was good to have a reset with the kids here, just emotionally and mentally to reset. And yeah, I'm feeling better every day. Do you envision like a dream, like some sort of storybook, Disney game on Saturday, a pick six into the corner where your family's at or something? You said it. Yeah, that would be great. Awesome. Does that you get extra? I know you're always motivated, but I mean, knowing how many people are going to be in the stands and what this game means to you, does it get you a little more amped up? No doubt. Yeah, it takes me back to the high school days. So I'm just planning to go out there, have fun like I had fun my whole life playing the game, and cut it loose. This stadium I know is not where they used to play, but have you ever been to here before? Or I have not played here. Yeah, everything was in the old stadium. Yeah. Do you still have people on Hawaii's team that you know? Yeah, I have some guys from high school and guys that I played in high school. A ton of guys. So does that make it kind of weird too, just looking over the other side and it's like a big family kind of? Yeah, no, not really weird, but I'm excited to see those guys and hope they do well as good as well. So. Do you get to go stay at home, or do you get to stay in the hotel and stuff? Hotel. Yeah. No. Hotel. Still a business trip. So. Yeah. What would be if you're able to do one thing, was like one meal or one place or like one thing when you get if Coach D said you can have 3 hours free or whatever? What's like the one thing you would love to do or hope to do maybe? I already know I'm gonna get it, but K-Bay poke. Okay. Yeah, some good fish is on the top of my list. I'll be getting that Thursday and Friday. When you mentioned like a year ago knowing about this, but I mean, as it's gotten kind of closer, is it like now that it's like 2 days away? What is just the feeling like getting a chance? And whenever I go home to see my family in Missouri, it's just as you're getting closer on the plane. You start what were the kind of the emotions going through your mind? Just you obviously wouldn't be here if not for that place. It's surreal, like you said, each and every day. It's like I'm more excited. Just emotions building up and. More happy, really. Just can't wait to get there and see the family, and I mean, it'll be a refreshing feeling. And I remember talking to you last year, the year before, when the wildfires were happening, obviously, and that was a big deal. But I mean, just the sense of community and the sense of family that you have, maybe with your family, but also just like I said, the pride of being from the islands and stuff. How do you explain that, or why is that different maybe than like people that are from Boise or from LA or something? I think it's kind of just like the culture that our parents have raised us in. It comes down to our parents and their parents, and that's kind of how we always did things. I don't know why, but I'm glad to be a part of it and happy that my parents have done a great job in teaching me the culture and how to live the right way.
I have a lot of like teammates and stuff been asking you for, I don't know, any tips or anything about why you keep being.
A lot of them have been asking me to bring them food, so I know I'll be taking care of a bunch of those guys.
You might be a little busy.
Yeah. My dad said whatever we need, they'll get. So
what in terms of this season and you know, obviously wanting to win a championship and go to the playoff, like have you allowed yourself, I mentioned kind of a Disney movie, but not just this week, this season, have you thought about like what it would mean to you to kind of go out there? It's been kind of an up and down career, I guess, with the way it's kind of gone with coaching changes and everything else. I mean, what would it mean to you, and how motivated are you and hopeful, I guess, that this season can end, you know, the way you want it to?
Yeah, not really only to me, but to the guys. I know how much we put into it, and that's why we've been successful. So if we just keep putting into it, everything will go how we planned it. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's God's plan. So whatever He has in store for us, we're all ready for it, and we've worked for every opportunity we've gotten. I think I can speak for the rest of the guys too that, yeah, that's our goal, college football playoffs. But I mean, very excited, and just taking it 1 week at a time. This is our next biggest game because it's the next one, so it's taking this game and then we'll move on after that. But everybody's excited for this game right now.
There's a lot of talk about, it's a 6-hour flight, time difference, all this. I mean, for you, this is nothing. I mean,
I'm pretty used to it.
Yeah. What's that like?
Pretty used to it. Yeah. I mean, it definitely is a long flight. You don't want to be falling asleep for 1 hour and then up for 5. That's the worst part. But yeah, I mean, I think the guys will be fine.
We bring you back live here at Clarence T.C. Ching Complex in Honolulu, Hawaii. This is a live look. You see Boise State getting set. Pre-game warm-ups are underway for the Broncos. They're on the field. A couple things of note that we're going to show you here as they take the field for warm-ups. Couple injuries to some breaking news to tell you. Sire Gaines doesn't even appear to be here. Sire Gaines is out. You see right there, James Ferguson Reynolds, the punter, walking off. He is not suited up, so no James Ferguson Reynolds tonight. There's your running back group right there, because if you look on the right side of your screen, Breezy Dubar is out tonight. No Breezy Dubar tonight against Hawaii. He came back for one game, and then he was out, and he is out for tonight's game. So no Breezy Dubar. He is out, and that's a big blow for Boise State's running back group. So you see Ashton Genty, though. He's good to go. Couple other of note. We're going to pan the camera this way a little bit. There's your DBs, but Chris Marshall is back, and looks like Chris Marshall's going to play tonight. Let's pan the camera a little bit. Sheldon Newton, far side of your screen, number 9 on the left. That's another injury update. Sheldon Newton is out. No Sheldon Newton tonight for Boise State along the defensive line. And again, Chris Marshall is back at receiver, so that is a good sign for Boise State. Now, all right, let's give you another special guest here. We bring you back live here as Boise State is warming up. We'll see if we can bring our gentleman in here. There he is, Winston Venable. Do you hear me, man? How we doing?
Hey, BJ, I apologize for being late. Let me tell you, downtown Boise, Idaho is going nuts right now for this game. Let me tell you, a lot of traffic.
Nobody knew you were late. You just outed yourself. You were good. You were all good, man. But Winston Venable coming in live from Bar National there at House of Western, getting set for the Horseshoe Collective watch party. And you jumped on for a few minutes with us as we get set, and we really appreciate that, Winston. But, man, crowd, it's an event now, man, with what Genty's doing, this team, like home road, the fans now getting super excited for these games. What's your take as an alum, man, of this team right now?
Yeah, as an alum, I'm super proud of these guys, right? I mean, when you're talking about a standard and trying to uphold a standard, those guys are doing it. And I know all the alum are really proud. And really, it's not about wins and losses. It's just about that product on the field, that high effort, that physicality on both offense and defense. So I know a lot of my old buddies and teammates are super hyped up and super proud of this team right now. And especially, the leadership in Coach Spencer Danielson and all those guys rallying. It's been great to watch.
Tell Jaden to bump your volume up a little bit there if we can. Folks were saying it was a little low. You're at the watch party there at House of Western. Every road game, House of Western Bar National, $3 Horseshoe Golden Nails. You can come hang out with guys like Winston. He's probably got his tequila and water, whatever he's got there going. I know it's going to be a fun night there hanging out with fans watching the game. Winston, hey, man, Ashton Jeanty, we've talked about this. You were part of his recruitment. You did not get a chance to coach him, but I know talking to Rid last week on the postgame show, he gave you a ton of credit for helping get Ashton Jeanty to Boise. Talk from your perspective, man, about his recruitment, what you saw in him, and what it's like now doing what he's doing and being a small part, knowing that you helped get him here and have him be here at this point. Now we lost you all together, Winston.
You got me now, huh?
There you go.
Yeah, that was special to be a part of, right? Just to see what this young gentleman's doing right now, and being a little bit of that recruitment, right? I mean, it's a team effort, right? And when it comes down to it, everybody recruits at Boise State, and that's one of the special things about this place. And it's no different than when I was getting recruited. I used to tell stories about how, offensive coaches like Brian Harsin were on the phone call with me, and I'm kind of wondering, what's this guy doing talking to me? But it's just that family environment. So that was a collaborative effort. Coach Riddle kind of held the reins on that one, but ultimately Coach Plow was looking for a very versatile running back, somebody that could flare out into the wide receiver position and run some slants and run some routes and actually stretch you vertically, all sorts of different things. Like, he is a mismatch as a wide receiver, and then you can bring him back in the backfield and hand the ball off to him. So we saw that versatility. It was a major fit for Coach Plow's offense, and Coach Plow didn't get to coach him a whole lot. I didn't get to coach him a whole lot, neither did Coach Riddle, but we sure do love watching him now.
Yeah, do you take a little sense of pride? And I'm sure you would have loved to have coached him and been a part of this, but just knowing that he's here and doing what he's doing, and maybe going to be the first ever Heisman Trophy winner from Boise State, and in part, you had a small part, big part, however you want to describe it, in making that happen. I mean, do you take some pride in being a part of this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I take some pride in the Broncos winning football games and representing the blue and orange the right way. So it really doesn't matter if I'm a part of that recruitment. I think there's something a little special to that. But like I said, man, this thing's a collaborative effort, and there's been multiple coaches that have impacted that young gentleman and impacted all those players out there. So it is awesome to just be a Boise State Bronco, not necessarily any bit extra having a part of that recruitment, because that's not what it's about, man. It's not about me. It's about these young boys.
What else do you make of this team, man? I mentioned 4-1, trying to get to 5-1. A lot of things to be excited about, going for a Mountain West championship, going for a bid in the college football playoff, all of what Jeanty's doing. But as an alum, just what else, as a fan, what else has you excited about the direction of this team right now?
Yeah, just excited to see these guys keep attacking it, right? I mean, I think there's all sorts of hype around the program. It's awesome to see, but from one of those alum that's kind of went on these paths of stacking some wins and being a part of the hype, it really doesn't matter. You can't get too caught up in it. I'm glad that we're back in the rankings and back in the national spotlight, like where we're supposed to be, but ultimately that's the standard. So this isn't a huge surprise to Bronco Nation. It's not a huge surprise to the alumni. We're just passionate and proud that the program is back to where it needs to be. And from my perspective, we got a long ways to go, man. We still got a whole half a season left, and we got to stay healthy out in that field and keep competing and keep on cleaning some things up to have that best product possible.
You got to remind me, man, did you ever play over here in Hawaii?
Played 1 year in Hawaii. Yep. They had Greg Salas, a couple really good wide receivers at the time. They were a pretty good team back in 2010. I think we went out there to Hawaii.
And now not playing at the same spot either now, not over there at the Aloha Stadium. They got a much smaller place here. What do you make of the challenge mid-season like this coming over for these guys and trying to stay focused?
Yeah, it's always a challenge, right? So you got the travel involved there, a little time change. You got some beautiful scenery out there. So there can be some distractions. And I think, BJ, that's probably one of the most things I'm excited to see out of this Boise State football team is how are they accepting these type of challenges? How are they playing against a team that may not be as superior on the same level? But really, we'll find out what kind of Bronco team we have with this travel, with a team that, we should on paper be competing with pretty good. They have had some battles against UCLA, San Diego State. So I'm really excited to see how the Broncos respond to this travel and see how they get after it.
I know, and as some of the coaches are making their way up here towards the coaches' box for this one, I know for you, I know it was not a coincidence, and we joked about this, but the very first practice after Spencer Danielson got the interim job, you were back out of practice that next practice. What is it about Spencer and knowing him, and I'm sure you're not surprised to see him really doing what he's doing here this season with Boise State?
Yeah, it was all about, for me, coming back to that practice was all about showing my support as a Bronco, as alum, as a former coach, a big brother. There's a lot of these guys I'm connected to on that roster and that I, try to help off the field and try to impact and influence in a positive way, even to today. So for me, it was really about making sure that those guys were good. Those guys had, I wanted to be a part of those smiles and those hugs because Boise State went through a phase there that we weren't ourselves. We weren't the Boise State Broncos that everybody wanted to be, and it just felt really good to have a revived energy and be a part of that and give some of my Bronco brothers a hug.
Well, hey, man, Winston, I appreciate you. People are loving the insight. We got to find a way to make this a little more regular now, man. I know you were busy. We've been busy, but we got to get this thing going again. Too many people are wanting to hear from Winston Venable. I know you're coming up at some point soon on the Riley and Ridge show. And that'll kind of maybe ease you back into this, but great to hear from you, man. Thanks for coming down to Western Collective there. Make sure Joe Nickel takes care of your tab, and we're going to have a good time tonight watching this game. We appreciate you, man.
Hey, BJ, I appreciate the opportunity to get back on. It's been fun, and we'll be watching this game, and go Broncos. Let's get it done.
There it is, Winston Venable. We appreciate him for joining us live from Western Collective. The band's taking the field. We're getting ready to start the game here in about 15 minutes or so. So we got to jump off of here and get back in the into the press box. And it's the folks that stole their seats here out on the patio. I got to give them their seats back. They're all waiting for me. So appreciate you guys. Enjoy the game. Should be a fun one. Boise State and Hawaii coming up. CBS Sports Network, top of the hour. Again, Bronco Nation News, the only outlet that's here. So join us on the post-game show. We'll see you after the game. Mike Sanford, myself, post-game, Boise State, Hawaii. Thanks for sticking with us. 2+ hours, 7 guests, all kinds of coverage. Go subscribe if you can, BroncoNationNews.com. And $50 using that promo code BNN50 deal. So thank you so much. Like the video, subscribe, tell your friends, and at a minimum, help us out on the YouTube channel here. So enjoy the game. Appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. Final look, the band on the field. We're getting set for kickoff here in Honolulu, the Clarence T.C. Ching Complex. Again, Boise State and Hawaii. Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you guys later. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.